Here it is! Final Fantasy VII is finally out on PC, and if it could be described in one word, I will say stutters, and a lot of them. Honestly, I was so enthusiastic when people said it's a good port, I was ready to have a good experience, but ended up having a lot of problems. The first chapter was hell in terms of performance, stutters, both in cutscenes and gameplay, but from the second chapter it became much better, and when you turn down the textures to low, there's much less stutters. Just on higher textures need more than 8GB of memory, and in general the game visually looks good, but not impressive enough to require powerful hardware. And if we start to talk about the game itself and not its technical part, then the scale of everything has increased here. Here you have huge locations, and the addition of synergy attacks with allies, which were in the DLC to the first part. But the way also this cool mechanic was the second part of Kingdom Hearts. Also they added crafting, now you can collect materials to make elixir, armor, accessories. Also there are a lot of minigames, you can play the piano and cars and ride on the chocobo. In general there is a lot of fun, but I'll tell you everything step by step. And let's start with the story, and I'll say right away that I can understand that someone may not like it because of the fact that the whole game will be chasing Sephiroth and eventually fight against him. But I'm absolutely not against the structure because it gives me a cool adventure where locations are constantly changing visually and content, and it's wildly cool. And better than just being in the same city Midgar as was in the first part. I like the first part, but just there on the variation really was poor. The plot in Rebirth sometimes reminds me a lot of the series Kingdom Hearts, because in both games everything is somehow very confusing, overcomplicated, and I like it, gives intrigue and interest in what will happen next. And not for nothing these series are so similar because the creator is the same. I have passed only 4 chapters, so it's hard to say how to me as a whole story, but so far everything goes fun, interesting. For example, I really liked the parade in chapter 4, it was so weird but funny at the same time. I felt the same emotions when going through chapter 9 of the first part of the remake. Characters, as for me, it's almost the best thing that was in this game because they are so bright, different, and here they become more. The interaction between them cool, for example, very funny to watch Barret's reaction to Yuffie, and so to speak, he was surprised what the new generation is now.
You're welcome. Not to be that guy, but kids these days, I swear.
Also there is a development between the team, for example Cloud and Tifa wander between themselves, whether the real person is talking to me or he's a replacement. Also by doing side quests you develop a relationship with certain character. For example, in the city of Calm, had to do the work to deliver flowers, and of the team who is straight adores it, Ares of course. And by doing this mission we get more content with her and then we can get some additional scenes. This mechanic gives more motivation to do side quests. Now let's get to the gameplay, and it's really addictive. As I said earlier, there's a lot of stuff here. Starting from crafting to all sorts of mini games, exploring. Probably this is what fans expect from the first part, where you will be given an interesting spacious world which will be interesting to explore. For example, I really like riding on the chocobo, as well as here you can find the treasure with the help of this magic bird. In some specific places you will show a sign that there is something here and you need to press button which will give the bird to smell and find the direction where the treasure lies. And then when you find it, Chocobo will dig you out and you have a potion or some other items there. Just like in the first part, you have extra grind and killing monsters from Chadley. only now you will be with help of his tags, which will open new places and tell how nature works here in certain place. Well, and of course, classically you can fight against bosses to then get them in the form of summoning. Well, and of course, for the fulfillment of his missions, you will receive a certain currency for which you can buy unique materia. Just like in the first part, you will do people's runs, but as for me, because of the interactions with companions, it became more interesting to pass them. And unique minigames can be found, for example, be frog to jump over obstacles, but now let's talk about the best part of gameplay, namely the combat system. And how it became better. Here you have fixed fights against flying opponents, now there are special abilities for them, and the coolest thing is the addition of synergistic attacks with your ally, and so much fun. So much variety to the gameplay. For example, Cloud can use Ray to send his Ray with Cloud Sword at enemies, or Ares can summon a partner to be her shield. Also, they completely changed the develop of characters. Now you upgrade weapons automatically and just can choose in the source material for weapons what bonus you need, such as health or damage. Adding points became necessary for a separate skill tree, namely there will be acquired synergistic attacks or abilities, and also there will be able to acquire passive abilities. In general, fighting here is such a pleasure for such a large variety of abilities and companions. How I'm enjoying the world here, and it's not about the graphics, because it is here at most well normal, and in general it's not clear why so demanding than the first part. Of course there is an answer that there is a straight huge space with worlds, but still friendly believe that so became more demanding. But okay, back to the world here, it's just aesthetically pleasing to look at it. As here build the landscape, here is different locations, green fields and mountains and desert lands and darker places. Yes, and now there's verticality, you can climb certain buildings, find the treasure, climb mountains. In general, I catch a wild thrill from traveling this world. Now I'll summarize that on these 4 chapters that I passed, I can say that sequel is successful. It's everything that's required of a worthy sequel, that is, preserving what was loved in the first part, improving what was so bad and adding new cool things. I hope that the game will continue to hold itself worthy. Put likes please and subscribe